Watch what's approaching, the supreme moment. Reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead, it's for the taking if you want it. If not, the dream dies and you'll be forever haunted. Then confront it.
What's good? Let's go ahead and test out this bad boy out with the upgrades with the EZA. So we're going to be going on the Super Battle Road setting. I pretty much kept my potential system intact with what it currently was, with level 9 additional attack, level 12 criticals. I've got a couple of dupes left over, so if I decide to reevaluate the potential system, I might go in and you know, go back in and rearrange it a little bit, maybe a heavier focus on additional attack. We'll see how it goes, but I'm still thinking about it, not really made a determination on what to do yet, but the Super Battle Road setting is going to be on the Super Type stage versus the Extreme stage of Super Battle Road, because obviously I wanted to see how this guy does given the passive skill impact on the Extreme Type enemies, so that's pretty much the format with that. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to potentially go a little bit heavier on the additional attack side is because with the EZA, the super attack ability also raises attack and defense by 50% for 3 turns. So, of course, you know, with the increased chances of additional super attacks with additional attacks built in with the potential system, you're increasing the odds of getting that attack and defense increase of 50% multiple times. So that's another reason I'm thinking about it. But I personally like the level 9 additional attack, level 12 critical setup. I think it's pretty beneficial to have that. So, we'll see. Like I said, I haven't really made a decision on it yet, but I'll probably test around a little bit longer and then make a decision at that point. So, along with the other stuff, again, one of the reasons why I wanted to use the Super Type stage versus Extreme Types is because this guy does have the ability to reduce Extreme Type enemies attack and defense by 20%, as well as a high chance of stunning Extreme Type enemies when attacking as well. So because it is the Super versus Extreme setting, you're pretty much facing, for the majority of times, if not all, the Extreme Type enemies. So that's pretty much a best case scenario or testing ground to see how much of an impact the newly upgrades basically make. Now, the other thing to note is also the fact of his stunning capabilities when attacking an Extreme Type enemy. It's only active for that current turn. So the next turn onwards, you're not going to be able to maintain the enemy being stunned. So just keep that in mind when running through it. In case you weren't aware of that, it works a little bit differently than the Super Type or super attacks that have the stunning mechanic built in. So that can potentially save you a couple of attacks within the same turn, and probably the beneficial value with that is a setting like Super Battle Road. Now, this guy does have some decent links, but it can be a little bit tricky in terms of how to set it up in terms of like team building. So for this one, I pretty much went with the transforming Super Saiyan Vegeta as the linking partner because they do share a lot of links. Along with that, it makes it easier for both the units to get the 12 key super attack because they do have at least like Royal Lineage on top of Prepare for Battle, so that does help out quite a bit in terms of like the link setup. So again, some of the other units that you may want to include on this Realm of God / Explosion of Anger category, it can be a little bit tricky in terms of like how you want the rotations to work. For the majority of times, like it works fine, but this Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta is a little bit different, I guess, in a way, because like Prepare for Battle is definitely a good one to have, but you do have to almost like force in the Royal Lineage link skill to activate in order to get pretty much everyone on the rotation to get that super attack. For my own experience, that's been the case. Maybe I need to explore different team building options and whatnot to really figure out a good rotation setup. But from my own experience, that's kind of how it's been. And that's pretty much what you're seeing here is an ideal situation to where the majority of units outside of maybe like the floaters in the third spot, like you're seeing Beerus, I didn't really make a priority of this guy getting a super attack. If he was able to, great. If not, I wasn't too worried about it. So that's pretty much how the focus was there, because I did run the double physical type Beerus leads as leaders, because I didn't want to necessarily include the transforming Zamasu unit on there, because it just makes things a little bit weird for me when I wanted to build a team. I mean, you could certainly do that, and I did build a team based off of double Zamasu leads, but it almost seems like it worked a little bit better having the Beerus as leaders, because I also wanted to include the LR Beerus and Whis unit on the same rotation with that Dokkan Fest physical Beerus. So that's pretty much how things were. And of course, by doing so, you kind of make things a little bit difficult for the floater position. They're not always going to get guaranteed to have the 12 key super attack. So I do want to note this isn't by all means, you know, the best team build, you know, but this is pretty much what I ended up using to run through it and test out the EZA for the Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. So, I mean, overall, it did work out fairly well. Majority of times they were able to get the super attack. I think, in particular, the only issue was the rotation where the intelligent Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta was with the transforming Vegeta. Like the floaters on that rotation, where it's kind of like give or take, they were able to get a 12 key super attack or not. So, again, this is pretty much the format I ran with. I did consider including some additional support like Topo or Supreme Kai Time, but honestly, I just decided not to go with it. I wanted the floaters to be somewhat heavy hitters that were capable of providing some damage capacity to the enemies, and you know, obviously because the Vegeta unit does reduce enemies' attack and defense, so I wanted to see how much of an impact that was compared to some of the other units on rotation attacking as well. So that's pretty much really ultimately the only reason why I included just strictly hitters and not necessarily supporting type units. But at the end of the day, it worked out fairly well. I think this unit, I mean, you know, looking back on it, this guy was waiting for that EZA for a long time, and a lot of people were expecting it to happen a little bit sooner, I think, but at the end of the day, just glad it happened. Definitely a good unit because, you know, along with the super attack skill sets and passive skill sets, you do have the ability to increase the super type Realm of Gods category allies defense by 50%. And it does make a pretty decent difference, honestly. And it's good to have that skill set supporting, along with Vegeta's capability of raising his own attack and defense, as well as, you know, reducing enemy stats and also, you know, stunning them potentially by attacking. So a lot of different good skill sets are built into this unit. And, you know, if you look back on it, previously to his EZA, I mean, the guy literally had, I mean, he had a decent amount of skill sets, but what was lacking with this unit before the EZA was the defense increase. So, like, if you look back on it, the super attack would cause immense damage and raise his attack for 3 turns. So that was an equivalent of 50%. I don't know why they reworded it. That's kind of interesting they did that. But along with that, the passive skill was an attack increase of 100%. And then extreme type enemies had attack and defense decrease of 20%. So, again, you can easily tell that the defensive capacities were definitely a little bit lagging, so I'm glad they built that into, you know, his super attack, and then also the supporting Realm of Gods category allies defense increase of 50%, because, you know, he's obviously on that category as well, so, you know, that boost will benefit himself also. So with that being said, I think it's a pretty satisfactory EZA. I think, in my opinion, I think they did what they needed to pretty much do for this unit, and you know, it's not going to be like a top tier choice. I don't imagine for a lot of players, but I think it's nice to have that ability to potentially include this unit because, again, like Super Battle Road is definitely beneficial to have. I mean, you know, I keep repeating this, but having the ability to raise attack and defense with the super attack, potentially stunning the enemy, or high chance actually, and high chance does equate to a 40% chance based on what I'm reading right here. So you do have a 40% chance to stun the enemy, at least for that turn. After attacking, Realm of Gods category allies get a defense increase of 50%. You know, and he also gives himself an attack increase of 120% along with reducing enemy stats. So overall, a lot of good skill sets built in for this unit, especially on this Super Battle Road setting. And Battlefield, probably beneficial to some degree. I mean, in terms of, you know, the final battle where if you're potentially, you know, facing Jiren, it's beneficial to reduce that enemy's attack. So, you know, every little difference makes in that case. So it is 20% decrease toward enemies' attack, so I could definitely see some value in that as well. Alright, I really wanted to give Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta the Dokkan mode attack because this Super Battle Road run really is focused on him, but timing doesn't work out, so whatever. I mean, it's probably better off that Beerus has it anyway because it is a much stronger unit at the end of the day, so it's probably more beneficial to have him activate the Dokkan mode attack anyway, but it's all good. Alright, so Zamasu is pretty much dealt with at this point, so we will only have the Rose unit left over, and honestly, hopefully Vegito Blue applies a decent amount of damage here. I don't know, on this particular run, this guy was doing a lot of additional supers. It typically doesn't get that often where you activate that many super attacks, so probably got a little bit lucky there. Alright, so we're probably going to keep the rotation as is because Beerus does get that increase toward attack based on, receiving an attack first, and then we'll try and finish things off with the Intelligent Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta as well as the Transforming Vegeta. They should be able to apply decent enough damage here. If not, it's pretty much avoiding the inevitable for the Rose unit. Alright, so what was that, 2.8 million? I mean, with support, you could definitely get it higher, but, I kind of wanted to keep it somewhat, I wouldn't say realistic, but like almost a natural team without forcing in support necessarily. So I guess we'll go ahead and finish things off here. Looks like a decent amount of strength type keys, so I'm going to let Beerus and Whis attack here. Hopefully Rose doesn't super attack afterwards. I think we'll be okay, but we'll have to see. We didn't get the 18 key super attack, but 3.2 million attack stats should be enough, unless a critical doesn't activate, which it didn't, but an additional attack for a super did, so I think we should be okay. But anyways, yeah, this is the Super Battle Road run with the EZA Intelligent Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, so hopefully you guys found this helpful, entertainable, or whatever. I don't even know if entertainable is the right word, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. As always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys later. Alright, peace out.